each of those units, the 16, we're looking to provide 17 parking spaces inside covered so that they can have, private and protected spaces.
Brian, but that's not garage stuff.
It's not garage, it's open air on both sides. It's just covered. And then following that, the right-hand portion is mostly for the restaurant space as well as auxiliary spaces for lobby, entrances, utilities, and whatnot that services the residential upstairs. And then at the far end of that is a restroom area for men and women that would be actually for public access on the walkway that goes from the bridge area down to the waterfront.
Were you involved with the 800 Main project as well?
Yes, I was.
Nice. That's good. Yes, that's beautiful.
That's Fifth Avenue.
So you said it's not a parking garage, it's covered parking, but it's all one, I'm just thinking, because that property slopes down pretty good.
Yeah.
So, but the building's not gonna slope. But it's gonna be 3 stories the entire time.
Be 3 stories. So yeah, underneath the restaurant area, I mean, everything will probably be built on islands for sure. But underneath the restaurant, we're gonna have crawl space or even a basement area in order to make that elevation up, kind of backfill against that. But the covered parking will fall essentially to where the building sits now, so it's almost that big. It'll be, the project is a bit of a fill job. It will be equally filled.
So the ground level for the first floor will start at the highest point of the property?
Yes.
And then you'll
Yeah. So, from the original site plans, we have grades and whatnot already. So what happens is, the bulkhead right now is at, say, elevation 6.5. Okay. The patio area or finished floor of the restaurant was at 11.5. So it's about a 5-foot difference between the first floor and the bulkhead all the way out to the river. So we'll have a walkway. There's actually some handicap ramps that come down in that, and there'll be some retaining walls and landscaping to create that break, that elevation break. But it's about a 5-foot break.
Just wondering, looking at this picture, where's the parking, in the dead center? Or
Actually, that's on Fifth Avenue, so the parking enters, that elevation is on Fifth Avenue. The parking enters from the proposed parking lot. So it enters the east side, eastern wing of the building, about halfway in.
Tell me about the residential areas. Are they 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom?
Two bedroom, 2 bath as a minimum. Attempt to do 2 bedroom, 2.5 baths wherever possible. What we're seeing now, certainly the 800 Main Street, the largest units went first. Yeah, there's a strong demand for 2 bedroom and 2.5 bath. I mean, there's a strong demand for a higher level of amenity. Mostly empty nesters. Yeah. Yep. So we'll try to, that's our target.
Now, what is your, I don't know if you have the time frames yet, so could you talk to us about that a little bit?
We're contract purchasers now. We have to go through the process with your TDRC and planning board. We do have to go back to CAFR to get an amended CAFR approval because the project is only a portion of what was originally approved,
Right.
which I think is about a 4 or 5 month process. We will run that concurrently with what we're doing here locally. So sometime, I would think late spring, we would close on the property and perhaps start early summer.
So, but the capital permit was received for a larger development. So all you're looking to do is amend it for a smaller.
And all of the waterfront development aspects of that site plan are being mimicked with what we're doing on our site plan. So it should be.
And that's all public access. access around the
Yeah,
water?
there's a 16-foot wide easement along the entire waterfront that will be preserved in perpetuity as public access to the water.
I'm very happy about that property being developed because it's been in disarray for many years. So it's very pleasing to me that this is going to happen. So I look forward to it. Thank you.
I don't want to be negative, but we've been here before, last year with development across the street. How much of this is a sure thing for us, or, you know, percentage-wise, do you have the financing and ready to go?
Well, we're in the midst of, working with our banks right now for it. So is it pinned down? No. But I have letters of intent from 2 banks already.
And with the state of the economy, I know it's picking up, but you feel confident you can get these bedrooms and, these residential places and retail places rented out?
I wouldn't be here today.
Really? You're confident?
Brian, we finished 800 Main Street in pretty good construction time.
Absolutely.
We did that in about 14 months. We opened pre-construction. This is all rental. We have 30 market rate rentals at 800 Main Street. We did some pre-construction in the middle of summer. We finished the CO building at the end of August. We moved 12 of those residents in by Labor Day weekend. We now have 25 out of 30 market units occupied. It's October 17th. We have 25 out of 30 done. As I said, the largest units went first. Yeah. We're extremely confident.
And you'll have an elevator in here at some point.
Absolutely. Yeah, secured entranceway, elevator access for the second and third floor.
Do you see any hurdles that you have to jump through?
Oh, absolutely. There's tons of hurdles, yeah. We need to entice a restaurateur to come to that location.
The Pep's Italian restaurant.
No, that will never happen. I'm sure that I can guarantee.
Are you gonna rebuild any of the piers going out?
Yeah, the capital approval had, is presently approved for 20 boat slips there, I think. I forget what the count is right now.
Yeah, 13.
There's 13 ones.
Okay. And it's all gonna be open sidewalk to walk for the public to get to walk along and
Correct.
hopefully entice them into your restaurant every week.
I hope the CAFRA adjustment moves along quickly because that can lag on. So I'm hoping that doesn't delay you. And that could
That's
be,
a hurdle.
that is a hurdle because I remember whenever we apply for CAFRA, it takes a while. So I'm hoping that'll move along quickly for you.
That was one of the issues that we really looked at. I mean, if you start to look at this and compare it to the Diamond Developers project, this footprint, what we're proposing is nearly identical to what CAFRA's already approved. It's just phase one of the bigger project that's not being built. So all those things we took into account, and hopefully if we can get this extra, that is expeditious.
And just review for me again, how many units do you have for living?
16, 8 to 4.
Sounds good.
So we're looking for a green light from Mayor and Council as part of your Seaport redevelopment ordinance to allow us to take the next step and meet with your TDRC and start looking out some of the real details of the plan.
Brian, what are your thoughts?
I think it's great. You know, Evans and Hampton's been sitting there for a couple of years, and this looks like a big improvement. You're confident you can build it and they will come. Great.
I think that's one of the first spots that people see as they come over the bridge.
Yeah.
And I think that is going to be so beneficial for the town. So I applaud you, and I applaud your architect and your team. And I see your work, and you really always complete and get done what you say you're going to get done. So I think your reputation precedes you. So I appreciate that about you as well. So I have great confidence that this will work.
I think, you know what, your parking looks great, so that's, the number one concern is always the parking, so I like it. Good.
Just the public access, the public space.
Yeah, and the nice thing is that Barry has a proven track record of success here in Belmar, and it just goes to show, when you work with someone who's got deep roots in the community, that when he does come up and present something, unlike some of our other developers, it's something that he builds what he says he's going to, and he gets it done on time, and it looks great. So, please look forward to the TDRC, and look forward to seeing this come to fruition for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, Barry, one last question. Estimated investment on your part for this type of a project?
Upon completion, this is close to a $10 million project.
$10 million. Great.
And length of time will take approximately?
From start of construction, probably 16 months.
Well, the 800 project moved along very quickly,
Yeah.
really.
He was up there with a whip hit.
It's a full-time job.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Mayor, we can have a vote on that, or we good to go?
We're good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you for
members of
coming out to
council.
this with no advance notice.
I think you have to talk to Bill about that one.
The council like to join me up today for a few proclamations and a special resolution for one of our police officers.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to give you a background of this first resolution. Back in the late 1980s, Mayor Maria Hernandez formed a committee of local residents, and they started studying the history of Belmar. A few years later, the mayor and council formalized that committee as the Belmar Historical Council, and Mayor Pringle appointed Pat O'Keefe to that board. Now, about 20 years later, this is why we're here tonight, because of that woman. So for right now, I'd like to call up Pat O'Keefe. I knew ahead of time. Now, we got your flowers. If you look at the flag, I went around the lake today and I cut off a piece of eastern cedar. I was going to go to Naomi Reisner's yard and cut off her holly, but I went to someone else's yard. Landscape. I tried to get some feathers from a swan. They are nasty. So I had one of my students origami make a swan out of paper, okay? To match our congratulations, Pat. Now, can I have the other members of the Historical Council? Please take your rightful place behind your leader. Well, the holly is part on the flag, the holly and the eastern cedar. Part is native to Belmar in this area. If you're on the Shade Tree Commission, you would know that. So I'd like to read, look at all these people. And these people work so hard, it's unbelievable. It's been, this resolution is recognizing the hard work of these volunteers and the opening of the Belmar Museum on Saturday, November 3rd, that they've been working to for so long. So, honoring the Belmar Historical Society and the opening of the Belmar Historical Museum. Whereas, in 1872, the town of Ocean Beach was incorporated by the directors of the Ocean Beach Association. And whereas in 1889, the town of Ocean Beach was renamed Belmar, a French translation for beautiful sea. And whereas in 1988, Mayor Maria Hernandez first selected a group of local residents to begin organizing Belmar's history. And whereas in 1991, the mayor and council formally recognized the Belmar Historical Council, and Mayor Kenneth Pringle appointed to the Historical Council Patricia O'Keefe. Whereas, Jen crying yet? She always cries. Whereas Pat O'Keefe has energized the council for the last 20 years, and where the Historical Society members have now spent countless hours, I'm going A to Z here, pay attention, advertising, brick selling, collecting, detailing, editing, fundraising, grant writing, hosting veteran events, identifying, judging. K was difficult. Give me a break on this one. Kaput photograph restoration. Labeling, monument repairs, networking, organizing, public relations, qualifying records, remodeling, seminar meetings, tacking and taping, updating, verifying, welcoming, Xeroxing, yearly Christmas parties at Tom Volker's. And I couldn't come up with Z. I wish the ice rink had been built and she had driven the Zamboni. Whereas Belmar in 2012 is now celebrating 140 years of a rich and storied history of citizens, businesses, and celebrations. And whereas the Belmar Historical Society on Saturday, November 3rd, you all should be there, be hosting the grand opening of the Belmar Historical Museum at 9th Avenue and East Street for the education and pleasure for all, especially for Belmar residents and their families. And now therefore, the mayor and council of the Borough of Belmar wish to thank the Historical Society for their many years of dedication and hard work, and wish them success in their future endeavors with the Belmar Historical Museum, and may November 3rd, 2012 be recorded as an important day in the history of Belmar. Naomi, you want to say anything about the museum? Tell what these people can expect that
I
opening?
think you'll be pleasantly surprised. We've tried to create the Belmar of a bygone era and take you back a little in time. So please show up and support us, and I hope you all enjoy it. Thank you, Pat O'Keefe.
On the whole camera? Got a full minute?
Oh, yeah.
That's historical.
Great, thanks.
Phil?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. Oh, my
Hey, have a can. I figured you would have let me take the holly, but I need Dan.
We have another resolution that I'm proud to present. I'm lucky to live on the street where he lives, and I found out when I moved into town, looking through the Belmar, book on Belmar, that he was a lifeguard with my uncle. So, here's a resolution honoring Cecil D. Lear. Come on up. Whereas Cecil Lear has been a resident of Belmar since 1946, and whereas Cecil is a loving husband, father, grandfather, and great-grandfather, as well as a known surfing legend. And whereas Cecil started as a lifeguard in Belmar in 1948 and worked until 1962. And whereas at the age of 32, Cecil took up the sport of surfing, and in 1963 founded the Jersey Shore Surfing Association, which promoted surfing clinics. And whereas in 1967, Cecil was the co-founder of the Eastern Surfing Association, which standardized the rules and regulations for surfing competitions from Maine to Florida. And whereas Cecil was awarded the Surfer Cup Award in 1968 and received the Nancy Caden Outstanding Surfer Award in 1974 for his many contributions and service to organized surfing. And whereas Cecil has been an official at the World Surfing Championships, and in 1996 was inducted into the East Coast Surf Legends Hall of Fame. And whereas on August 22nd, 2012, Cecil was honored again by being inducted into the Surfing Legends of East Coast Surfing Championships, the ECSC Hall of Fame. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Council and all the residents of Belmar that we commend and congratulate Cecil for his many outstanding achievements.
Oh, yeah.
He said he's going to teach me how to surf.
Yeah. I want to say one thing. Belmar has been so supportive of surfing. It's wonderful. And we'll be celebrating 50 years next spring of having a surfing beach in Belmar, the only one that was started here in Belmar. Thank you.
Next, I have two resolutions for two of our police officers. If they'd come up and join me, Officer Lee, Officer Allen, and Officer Yee. Not Lee. This is a resolution honoring both Officer Allen and Officer Yee. Whereas on August 19, 2012, police officers Allen and Yee were on patrol near 8th Avenue and D Street, and they heard a loud disturbance. Whereas, upon investigating, they attempted to secure and calm the scene. The owner of the property, Joe DiCristofano, came outside to assist. And whereas, while Officer Allen was handling the disturbance, Mr. DiCristofano stopped abruptly, collapsed, became unconscious, and suffered respiratory distress. And whereas both officers immediately notified headquarters of the situation, and Captain Andrew Heisman and Officer Michael Yee arrived on the scene for assistance. And whereas Officer Allen and Officer Yee moved Mr. DiCristofano to a safe location to utilize the AED, automated external defibrillator. Life-saving efforts continued with Officer Allen administering CPR until Mr. DiCristofano became coughing and moving. The Belmar First Aid Squad then arrived to transport Mr. DiCristofano to the hospital. Now, therefore, be resolved by the Mayor and Council and all the residents of the Borough of Belmar that police officers Michael Allen and Michael Yee be recognized and honored for staying calm in a very stressful situation and for their heroic efforts in saving the life of Joseph DiCristofano.
Good job, Mike.
Our next item of business is promoting a sergeant to lieutenant. I'll make a resolution to promote Officer Thomas Cox, or Sergeant Thomas Cox, to the position of lieutenant. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution passes. Lieutenant Cox, would you like to come up and take the oath of office? His wife, Pat, you can hold the Bible. All right, we're going to, hold on a second. So you stand there.
The music stops.
All right, and your left hand on the Bible, right hand up. Repeat after me. I, Thomas Cox, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and in this state under the authority of the people. I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all duties as Lieutenant of the Belmar Police Department to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Stick 'em, Brandon.
Also wanted to quickly recognize two former chiefs of police we have with us. Danny Moynihan, former Belmar chief of police. And former chief of police and former business administrator, Dick Lynch. So we're going to get back to our meeting. So if you were here for the Historical Council, Society, sorry, Mr. Lear, or for the police officers, now's sort of the time to scurry out the back, and or if you want to stick around for a meeting, you're welcome to do that too.
How are you?
That's your second home. start soon?
All right, folks, we're going to get our meeting back underway. Okay, next is a special proclamation to be read by our council president.
Proclamation by the mayor and council designating the month of October in each year as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Whereas National Breast Cancer Awareness Month educates women about the importance of early detection for breast cancer. Since its inception, mammography use has doubled and breast cancer death rates have declined. Still, many women do not utilize mammography at regular intervals. Whereas, in recognition of the fact that mammography is the best available method of detecting breast changes that may be cancer, long before physical symptoms can be seen or felt, and that breast cancer deaths could decline further if all women aged 40 and older receive mammograms at regular intervals. Whereas, October 2012 marks the 28th anniversary of National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which is dedicated to increasing awareness of breast cancer issues, especially the importance of early detection. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the mayor and council of the Borough of Belmar, County of Monmouth, State of New Jersey, do hereby proclaim October as National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. All women and their families in the Borough of Belmar, County of Monmouth, and State of New Jersey are urged to get the facts about mammography and breast cancer detection. Thank you for doing that, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Council President. Next, are there any petitions from the public for the council? I don't see any. I'll ask for Council President to make a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
No.
I know, I got it. I move that the minutes of a regular meeting held on September 19, 2012 be approved as recorded and that a copy thereof be posted on the borough's website.
Second.
Councilwoman Duncan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Butler?
Yes.
Councilwoman Dean?
I do not believe that the attorney has the ability to strike my vote on the 2012 of last meeting. So I did vote yes on that. It was not reported as yes, so I'm going to vote no.
Councilwoman Blake?
Yes.
Mayor Dyer?
Yes. Next is reports of the council. Councilman McGovern, would you like to?
I'll go first if you don't mind. My first report, of course, was with our resolution earlier about the Belmar Historical Society. They're opening up the Belmar Historical Museum on Saturday, November 3rd, 1 o'clock to 4 p.m. It's at the old police station at 9th Avenue and E Street. They've worked so hard for so many years. I think you're really going to enjoy it. You and your families could go back and find out. They've recorded all the Post Advertiser editions going back to 1890 or 1880 something. They've really done a tremendous amount of work. Second thing I want to report about is how nice that electronic sign on Highway 35 that the doors of what it's. To me, I knew it was going to look good. I didn't know it was going to look that good. Really, really impressive. So kudos to the Mary Brabazon and the tourism. Once we get the full power to it and you can appreciate the graphics that it can do, the Public Works Department will then landscape it and really going to make it an iconic location for people that drive by Highway 35 are really going to remember Belmar. And I think really when you drive along Highway 35 from South Amboy down to Island Beach State Park, I don't think there's a nicer location than when you come over that Highway 35 bridge south and you see Doughboy Park on your left, which you really, Doughboy Park is a great park. Just go there. It's really been landscaped well by our Public Works Department. But you see the marina, you see the new golf course, you got L Street Beach, you got the junior sailing in the summer with those boats out there. Looks great. McBeery Park with the tennis courts and the park. I think New Jersey, state of New Jersey should give us a gold star for having the best scenic location on the entire length of the Highway 35. And third, I'd just like to shout out happy birthday to Grant Martirano. He's celebrating his first birthday today. We have a Cookie Monster theme party on Saturday. I refuse to put on the costume though, but I will be at the party. So Grant, happy birthday.
Today?
Today, he's 1 year old.
Council President Dyke?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Mayor's Wellness Campaign Health Fair was a wonderful success, thanks to all of the participants, and there are many people to thank. First of all, my committee, Christine Stoner and Connie Gutierrez, the borough staff who pitched in, April and Bill who helped me with advertising, George Komitas from the DPW with the help of Mike Campbell, DJ's Bill Ledecky and staff for providing lunch, Chris Brandel for donating the lemonade. Also, we had the blood drive, and Matt and Colleen and Jen came to donate blood. I also wish to thank the many people who came out to support the health fair and took advantage of all that we had to offer that day. In other Mayor's Wellness Campaign news, we'll be continuing with our holiday food drive beginning the first week in November and continuing through the December holidays. Collection baskets will be placed here at Borough Hall and at the Public Library. The Historical Council and I have been collaborating on Belmar Memories Book 2. Book 1 was such a huge success that we decided to launch another effort to collect Belmar memories of individuals who wish to share their thoughts, including Councilman McGovern. We've received two memories, many memories, all wonderful, and will soon be ready to go to print. Also, on November 15th, the ADA Committee of Belmar will be sponsoring a program on autism by the Missing Piece Parental Support Services, a father and son team of Vincent Balistrieri Sr., a behavior specialist, and Vincent Balistrieri Jr., a psychologist. All are welcome to attend this event, and it's going to be very, very informative. Please remember the Monmouth County free discount prescription cards that are available at our public library. You can save 75% on prescriptions and are ready to use with no limits on usage. Another Monmouth County program comes from the county's Sheriff's Department. The Gold Star program comes with a Gold Star decal to be placed on the window of your car. In case of an accident, the star would indicate that there is an information card in your glove compartment section that would give contact information, health information, allergies, medication, and so on. And those are available at the police department. With our special breast cancer proclamation, you've probably observed the pink flag in front of Piano Plaza, and the pink line painted on 9th and Main Street. Thanks to Mike Campbell for having this done. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and the flag and line should make residents mindful of the impact the disease has on individuals and families alike. I am a breast cancer survivor of 12 years, and I'm here to tell my story because of a mammogram. This is still our best weapon against the disease, as technology has vastly improved screenings. Please encourage your loved ones to make regular medical appointments and to sign on for regular mammograms. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's all I have.
Councilman Bean?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Actually, I had some things for the workshop session, but it kind of rolled kind of fast. Mayor, can you tell us what's going on with the ice skate park, and is there anything we could do to help it out or anything?
We're still, it's a little more complicated than we had anticipated. It's still going through a negotiation period. Some people raised some issues since it came out publicly, and we're trying to accommodate as many people as possible with their concerns at that point.
Even if they would move it somewhere else, I would still support it. I think I would like to walk somewhere and go ice skating. I thought it was a great idea for this winter. The wine and cheese party coming up on Thursday, October 18th. I had some seniors approach me that did not get an invitation. It says on the website it's for all seniors. Is that?
Oh, yeah.
Can you
Actually, I think it says for all vibrant seniors, for whatever reason.
Like some people got mailers, some people didn't. I didn't know I didn't know what was going on.
That was, the mailers went out from our, yeah, here's a copy of it anyway, from Kelly Williams in our social services, based on her mailing list. So whatever seniors are already signed up would get the mailing. If they weren't, we'd encourage them to come and encourage them to sign up so they could get future mailings. One thing we realized with some of our seniors is, you know, it's tough to communicate via text message or email. The best way is still old-fashioned mail.
Okay. And it's for just seniors 55 and up? Any special, I mean, is it, we're talking about the senior center, is that what we're going to be discussing?
Well, we're, you know, if you go outside, we're still working on the community center / senior center, which we're going to have a grand opening October 30th. And what we'd like to do is to figure out having a good senior program that is not so much event-based like we have now, where we have seniors go to the Taylor Pavilion for lunches or certain events, but to have it more activity-based. So what we'd like to hear from seniors is what kind of activities they'd be interested in on a more regular basis in the senior center.
Sewing.
Brian will teach sewing and knitting. So that's the idea, is to get the...
And get the names of the people and who didn't get the announcement and give it to Kelly. She'd be more than happy to add that to her list. I've done that. People have come to me and said, you know, what do we have going on for seniors? And I gave them their information to Kelly. She's very, very happy to do that.
Okay. City Mayor, Maria?
Well, I'm on the list, but I didn't get one.
I heard rumor that the borough administrator job is coming up. Are we taking resumes or anything for that? Is that just rumor?
That's rumor.
Okay. No, nothing substantiating? Nothing? Nope. Okay, and last thing, the Barkley liquor license was sold. It was, I believe, purchased by DJs or some of the principals of DJs. Before we come to a vote, I don't know if it's going to be next meeting or the meeting after, the restrictions that are on it, I don't need an answer now. How do we, are the restrictions going to stay? Do the restrictions swap? How does all that happen? How do we get information on what, you know, what the rules are going to be?
The restrictions on which license?
The Barclays.
Restrictions follow the license.
Okay.
And then the council, acting as the ABC, correct me if I'm wrong, could leave them on, could change them, could add, could subtract.
And that, do we vote on that, or that we do it and then it comes up for the one vote?
It comes on a vote when you, well, you can answer that better than me.
When it comes up before the council again?
Well, I'm asking, like, do they, or are we just gonna say, okay, all the restrictions are removed, and then it comes before us for one vote to approve the change? Or do we vote on whether or not we're gonna remove those restrictions, and then we vote on, you know, whether we allow it to move? I just never did before.
The latter.
Okay, very good. And last Thursday, we had, the police chief had a meeting with the residents to go over a new program where we have an officer assigned to every street. And I have the list here, and I'm going to have April stick it on our website. Every street now in Belmar is going to have an officer assigned to it. So if somebody has a problem that it doesn't require 911, it's a nuisance problem, something you would like to have taken care of, it's repeated over and over and over again, they have an officer they can email, they can call, and really centralize one person who's responsible for this street to try and solve some of these community problems. So I thought it was a great idea. I want to thank the chief for pulling it together. It was a packed room that night. And I have the list if anybody needs it. It's going to be on the website, and I'm excited, and hopefully we can take care of these whole nuisances. One last thing. Oh, you know what? That's it. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Nicolai.
I'm going to start with the Belmar Elementary School. I'm going to start with the Belmar Elementary School. I was honored to attend a meeting for a grant that we're hoping to apply for and receive. Belmar Elementary School has joined the Coastal Monmouth Education Alliance along with Neptune Township, Neptune City, Belmar, and Bradley Beach in an application for the Race to the Top federal grant. By collectively joining with these districts, Belmar Elementary School has the opportunity to participate in a $20 million grant, if approved. The primary purpose of these funds would be for the acquisition of mobile technology to eventually serve as a one-to-one student-device ratio in a learning environment which allows students to use the latest digital tools to work at their own pace, collaborate with peers, and pursue classroom projects that are based largely on their interests. Through this grant, we aim to enhance the personal learning environments of all students and to prepare students for an ever-changing and unpredictable 21st century in which technology and the speed with which information is shared grows exponentially. It's still very early. We're completing the application. It's due, I believe, in January. So it is early, but it was great to attend the meeting. The other towns were represented. It's an extremely important grant, obviously, to kind of bring our school up to speed. And if you hear anybody talk about Race to the Top, that's what the grant is. Next is Belmar Recreation, the running club. Our Belmar Kids Running Club will be started again the week of October 29th. We will be training to run in the Jingle Bell Run for Arthritis on December 8th in Lake Como. Registration will be on Thursday, October 18th, from 6 to 7:30 in the gym. Children in grades 4 through 8 can participate. The cost is $40, includes a team costume and a registration fee for the Jingle Bell Run. Belmar Youth Club. Woo! The Belmar Youth Club will run this year from November 3rd through March 24th. Children in grades 3 through 8 can sign up. Basically, it's 3rd, 4th, 5th is in one group, 6th, 7th, 8th is in another. The cost is $20 for the program, and the registration is also October 18th from 6 to 7:30 in the gym. Toddler time, which used to be Mommy and Me, is starting again on Thursday mornings from 9:30 till 11 in the rec gym. It's running from November 29th through March 21st. You must pre-register this year. It is open to other towns, so we want to kind of prioritize the toddler time for Belmar. So I do hope the people in Belmar do register because they will be limited. The Belmar Halloween Parade and Costume Contest. This year's parade and contest will be held on Saturday, October 27th. Registration takes place from 2 to 3 p.m. in the recreation gym. We used to have it in the evening in the dark, and it's going to be held during the day, which is great on a Saturday. So parents don't have to rush home for it. The parade led by the Belmar Elementary School Band will start promptly at 3 p.m. Judging and awards will take place at Piano Plaza. In case of inclement weather, the event will be held inside the gym. For any questions, please contact Tina Connolly. And DPW obviously is always hard at work. The bulk of what they've done the past couple weeks has been with this building, doing the senior center, new walls, electric, sheetrock, tape, paint, landscaping, benches, planters. It's really come together and looks great. They've also removed some poles at Cleary Park. They fixed 4 water breaks and 2 fire hydrants have been replaced. Also on L Street Beach, I have a picture, very hard to see though. The L Street Beach is known for the settling of the silt that accumulates there. The volunteers of Tom Roscoe's along with DPW workers, they've implemented an innovative solution called Save the L Street Beach, and it's a process that they're calling rollover. Basically what they're doing is inserting an 8-foot pipe into the silt, the water's pumped, the silt floats to the top, the sand goes to the bottom, and when the high tide comes in, it's taking the silt out. So really for no cost at all, and for all the volunteers doing it, we're going to have a beautiful L Street Beach again. And we have a new VIP card. I don't know if everyone's familiar with it, but basically what it is, it's a card for people who shop in Belmar. Hopefully everyone we know. You can receive a card, and when you sign up, you receive information online about different businesses, different shops, restaurants, specials that they're having. You just go to the places, show your card, and you receive those discounts. So it's a nice offer, whether you're a resident or a visitor. And I have one thing that I have just seen. I am a member of the Surfrider Foundation, and this is something very hard to think about and keep in mind, but they're doing a big push on trying to inform people to stop using plastic bottles, water bottles, which we know and also plastic bags when you shop. So they're doing a big push on that, and it's actually called Wraptober. I'm not too sure what it means, but something about October and wrap. But if everyone could kind of keep that in mind and use water bottles that you can buy at the store and not use plastic bottles. Sorry, Poland Springs, but that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Blaine.
You're welcome.
I just have a few things to report on. We had some students from Belmar Elementary School who were here today to act as the mayor and council and also clerk. And they'll be coming in tomorrow with some other members of their, some other fellow students to see how their municipal government operates and to get a hands-on feel for it. I thought two of the resolutions that they proposed were kind of interesting in that both of them take advantage of properties we have here in town that are borough-owned, look to partner with a private concern to both enhance the property and generate additional revenue outside of property taxes, which something we've been harping on for the last 2 years. And it's interesting that some 6th, 7th, and 8th graders have the same ideas in mind. I think it bodes well for the future leaders in Belmar. Also, we had a presentation before. I wanted to make a point of mentioning that the developer who's looking to develop the property at Havens and Hamptons has an outstanding track record here in Belmar. And the total amount of his investment he's looking at is $10 million. For a small town like us, that's a lot of money. That's a big investment. His previous work had been on the corner of 8th and Main, so you can see what kind of work he does and how quickly he does it. And also 7th and Main across from Federico's. So he does a great job. And aside from improving the aesthetics of our town and making it more livable, it also helps us when it comes to property taxes. Right now, approximately 86% of every dollar generated through taxes is residential. It's our goal, our administration's goal, to increase the portion that's paid by commercial. And to do that, there has to be redevelopment in the commercial Main Street area. Once that comes online fully, the one on 8th and Main, that's going to pay a substantial amount. And something like this, where it's a $10 million investment, will also pay a substantial amount. So as well as we're doing generating revenue from the marina, and as well as we did at the beachfront this year, projects like this are what we really need moving forward to be able to maintain no tax increase here in Belmar. And speaking of the beach, I think the numbers were finalized, and our surplus is up a little bit over last year. So we look like we're in as good, if not better, financial footing going into 2013. Sorry, I forgot next year. 2013 as we were in 2012. So that's nice to hear as well. And lastly, I mentioned this too in the beginning of our meeting, but not everyone was here. We had a real tragedy in Belmar recently. Joe Hellman, a former commissioner in the borough, and also a neighbor of mine who lives on 5th and E, recently lost his daughter, who was very young, 21 years old in college, Gabby. So just keep him in your prayers and thoughts, and when you see him, you'll see him out walking his dog, I'm sure. Just stop by and make a point of saying hi to him. If you recall, also this past April, he lost his wife. So I can't imagine any worse year for anybody. So just keep them in your thoughts. That's all for me. Next is public session on the resolution calendar. This is just on the resolution calendar. Any comments, questions on just the resolution calendar? All right. Seeing none, I'll make a motion to close the public comment for the resolutions.
Second.
All right.
Can we run down just what each one is real quick before we vote?
Sure.
Application for 13th Avenue, are we repaving, we're digging stuff up, what are we doing for each one?
This is what we're asking for, and we're asking we're basically just gonna ask for everything we can and see what we get. That's a DOT grant asking for $300,000 paving. Same thing with Maplewood. Also, the streetscape improvements for Phase 2 on Main Street, and also another one for Main Street. They're all $300,000 grant money with no match, no local match. So we'll put in the applications and see what we get. Kind of going fishing, but it's worth trying. We've never really done that before.
The telephone system, did that go out to bid, or we just got that through the county contract?
Telephone system.
That's the next one on the resolution, Mike.
Yeah. Telephone system did not have to go out to bid. It did not go out to bid.
Okay.
It was under whatever threshold. And I'm trying to find out what the exact savings is going to be.
Yeah, that's why.
Oh, hi, how are you?
Good.
We usually don't allow discussion at this point, but if you don't mind coming and just
Yeah, before we vote.
saying a few things.
Sure.
Just introduce your name.
I'm Charlie Sylvester. I'm the vendor for the town. I was hired as a consultant on the phone system.
And what
It actually went out to state contract.
Okay.
It's an Avaya system. We looked around, looked at our options. There's really two technologies we looked at, which was Cisco and Avaya. Avaya saved us a lot more money, so that's where we went in that direction.
Guys, why we're leasing instead of buying?
It's a dollar buyout lease. You are buying.
So at the end of that.
You own it. Yeah, it's a dollar buyout.
That I did not know. Okay.
Okay,
good.
it's just a financing term, I guess.
All right, so after 5 years, we own this thing?
Yeah, you own it free and clear at that time.
Good. Okay.
Thank you
okay.
for your help with it as well. I appreciate it.
That's why I came.
Thank you.
Thank you. The truck, with the F-554, what are we using it for?
This is something that DPW is looking for. We try to do some regular upkeep or regular investment in equipment. This was something that was offered a state contract as well. That's a 2000, yeah.
DPW S4?
Yep.
Okay. The change order, number 1, 8th Avenue structure, we're getting money back, is that what?
Yeah, there was a $12,000 reduction in the project. Not a tremendous amount of money, but $12,000 is something worth taking back.
Refund of animal house bonds, that is, they go 3 years without a problem? Also, 4 years, and so hopefully the animal house rules are working, and this gentleman, playing by the rules, is getting his money back. Special events, property maintenance, well, the lien, that's the one on 14th Ave, correct?
Yeah, this is a property on 14th Avenue that's been a chronic nuisance. And the landlord, absentee landlord, was closed down, boarded up, and that occurred because of numerous and serious fire code violations. But at the same time, our DPW has had to spend time there and materials, so we're looking to recoup those costs. In fact, taxpayers shouldn't have to pay for a landlord, an absentee landlord who isn't keeping his property.
And what's the curfew, the times?
Halloween curfew. No trick-or-treater, masked or unmasked, in or out of costume, is permitted on private property after 8 p.m. on the 31st. So be home.
Thank you, man. Thank you for going over this.
You're welcome. I think we're taking a roll.
No, we have to vote on the resolution. The first resolution is a separate one on the raffle licenses. What we're abstaining.
I'm abstaining. Yes, I will abstain from it. I have a conflict.
You have a motion to approve the resolution approving the raffle licenses?
So moved.
Need a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Biden?
Yes.
Councilman Glover?
Yes.
Councilman Lee?
Yes.
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
We have a motion to approve the resolutions listed on the consent agenda.
I'll offer that.
Second?
Second?
Councilman Decky?
Yes.
Councilman Goodman?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilman Egley?
Yes.
Mayor Duffy?
Yes. We have no ordinances, so that concludes our business part. And now we open up to public session. The way public session works is you sit in your seat, raise your hand, wait to be called on, go up to the microphone, state your name, your address, any questions, comments you may have, and we have a 5-minute time limit. So does anyone have any questions, comments for the council? Yes, ma'am.
Me?
Yes,
I didn't raise my hand, but
ma'am. No.
No, I didn't. I was directly behind you.
I'm sorry.
I was gonna say.
I don't know if I'm tall enough for this. Thank you.
Put that down for short people.
Thank you. My name is Gwen Hopper. I am a resident of 800 C Street. I am representing other residents of the 8th Avenue and C Street area, and we are pursuing I've lived there for almost 16 years now. We are pursuing a continuous, if not growing problem of teenagers after hours, now after dark, in the park across the street from me, with really unquestionable behavior as far as their language, lying in the street, obstructing traffic, stripping off their clothes, and some of the residents that I am speaking for do not have air conditioning, therefore need to keep their windows open and find it quite troublesome. We have addressed the problem with the police officers, with certain council people and candidates, and now we are thankfully addressing it with our 8th Avenue patrolmen. A suggestion was made to us to possibly pursue obtaining a sign in the park, like on other public properties, that says park closed from dusk to dawn. And we were just curious as to how we could pursue that mission.
Well, let's ask our captain to.
That's one we never thought of. We have discussed with the chief options on curfews, which would hopefully resolve some of the problems that we're having. I have seen an increase in the 8th Avenue C Street. A lot of it through summertime was trying to get the kids on the boardwalks to move along. Other towns surrounding us have curfews, and they're enforcing them more and more, which is bringing more of the teenagers and young adults into our town. So I believe the chief has the curfew request all written up. So I imagine over the next month or two, we come forward with you on that. Which it's difficult to if we go down to the park and there's kids hanging out down there, they're not really doing anything. There's no such thing as a law of ruling. So we don't have too much power to tell them to move along. So with the curfew or the signage through our ordinance, that would fit up.
Yeah, and I'm very familiar with that park, and I bring my kids to that park, and it is odd when you see teenagers on playground equipment.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things we are trying to do is to get to do things in town, particularly through what Councilman Nicolay is doing with the Belmar Youth Club, to get them more activities, more things to do, as opposed to simply hanging out. And unfortunately, you're right, they're hanging out across the street from you.
And not to mention, they're really enjoying the improvements to the park, just not in the right way.
Right, yeah, no, we put. Well,
They're on top of the equipment instead of on it.
ADA accessible equipment, because we got a grant from a family.
And it's beautiful.
It's great, but you're right, they are misusing that.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Mayor, I walk the dog around the lake, and I think it's even a bigger problem than you brought up. not just for the neighbors, but those teenagers really intimidate and chase away a lot of moms with young kids. My wife has actually left the park with my grandsons because the teenagers were there. Ironically, that handicap equipment is big enough and strong enough for teenagers. And I've been there, and the language is atrocious. They're all over the place, and they're there
Asking the mothers of the toddlers to
Yeah,
get out of their territory.
yeah, they are obnoxious. You know, when I go into New York City, closing the park at dusk is one idea, but they're there when it's light out, and they're
In the summer,
a
yeah.
pain, yeah. I know in New York City, there are signs to their park, no one's allowed in without a child.
We can,
And that equipment is designed for 12-year-olds and younger. So unless, you could try, and sorry, Drew, this would,
I like that idea.
enforcement would be a real bear. But if we had a sign or passed a resolution that said, no one allowed in park without a child 12 years or younger, then the teenagers of those 16 people, they drive there.
And get dropped off.
Yeah. That might be one way to approach it. Closing the park at night is another. But, boy, I feel bad because it was such a good idea with that handicapped equipment. Beautiful. But it never would have, and, you know, I feel sorry for you because you live directly across the street, and Tom Nice across the street. But the moms that go there with the little kids being chased away, it's a shame.
It's
and if you wouldn't,
pitiful.
if you wouldn't mind leaving your name and address with our clerk, you don't have to, I mean, we just need your street address in general, but if you want to leave her your specific address.
Okay,
We'll
great.
make sure to
Okay.
have someone follow up with you as far as.
I have emailed our 8th Avenue patrolman now that, you know, he sent us an email, so that was great.
You can follow up right with me. The email's right there, and
Mhm.
contact information is on.
Okay, great. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much. Thanks for coming tonight. I think this gentleman had his,
Oh, yes,
then you.
Good evening, my name is, oh boy. Maybe you should have gone. How does
You
it?
got me a little stool.
Please.
Step up.
Hi, my name is Mike Nugent. I live on 16th Avenue, 104, and I wanted to, you know, thank the town for putting in place this system where the police are being assigned to streets by block and by section. We bought in Belmar, my wife and I, 3 years ago because we spent a lot of money for a house half block from the beach because we really believe that there's going to be enforcement of the animal house stuff. We think over the last few years it's gotten worse. That we've been here, the language is quite amazing. The bars spill out, particularly DJs and the traffic, et cetera. It has gotten worse. The police have been excellent, but we call them all the time. And it's not because we're prudes or because we don't like to party. We enjoy Belmar. We came here for the beach and to have fun. But it's becoming a problem. So we're hoping that this system will allow for a preventive approach. Perhaps the houses and the owners of the houses and the lessors can be spoken to by the cops and say, look, we're here, we're going to enforce. But something has to be done more on a preventive basis. Because it's getting to be a problem. I find it ironic that the city or the town is pushing Belmar as a family place to go. You should see young mothers and kids walking down these streets, and we have 4 animal houses within that first block. And the things that are being said to the mothers, the things that are being said to the young kids, the young girls, we hear this all the time, and we can't call the cops about that. The booze at night, it's pretty bad. So again, there are a lot of people at this meeting. The room is packed. I'd say, I don't know what the number was, but it was quite a few. I think people are getting more agitated. I think this will be helpful. And I'm hoping that the city council can, or the town council can put in place some kind of follow-up system to see how this works, to see if it's being implemented, because it's important that it does get enforced, and that the police continue to do their good work. So thank you.
Thank you. Tom, you have.
In keeping with this about the park.
Name and address, Tom. Name and
Tom Dilberger, 1000 River Road. About the park and the teenagers, there is an answer, I think. It's been tried and it works. Well, there's two answers, but the one that works that maybe could be done is classical music. Rig up a system on poles, classical music. It drives the teenagers away. It does. It works. It's been tried by businesses, 7-Elevens and Wawas and this and that all over the country. It works.
When you say classical music, you mean like Led Zeppelin?
Bach and Schopenhauer and Wagner.
A relative of yours out on the West Coast experienced that. A
Right.
sister,
Right.
and the kids just never came.
It works.
Yeah.
It drives them away. For whatever reason, it drives them away. Yeah. Another way, usually that would cost some money and would be successful, but it would cost some money. And usually I'm against spending a dime for anything. I have another way. And we needed this, and it used to be in Belmar. We used to have police on the beat. I know that's un-American walking, yes, but actual walking patrolmen. And once again, I'll go into spending money, hire more police, but not the two-legged variety. Nobody can argue with a dog. Can't be done. They don't understand logic or any type of thinking. They're idiots. Once the muzzle comes off, everybody understands that. That also drives the teenagers away. It never fails. All right. I'm not joking about that either. Believe me, I'm not joking. I don't care about their pain. Doesn't bother me a bit. If they do these things, they deserve what they get.
I just want to give you a fair warning that Mr. Seebeck is videotaping this entire thing.
Yeah, thank you. One other thing here. Councilwoman Nicolay.
I love dogs.
Yeah, they're nice.
And classical music.
Some are nice. Some aren't so nice. I'm talking about the ones that aren't so nice. But anyway, about the grant that you mentioned, I take it you're for it?
Yes, but limited as far as, not limited, but once it's received, to gradually bring it into the school system.
Well, I just wanted to bring it.
I am for it.
Yeah. It's no good taking federal money for the schools. Bad news, bad business. Shouldn't take federal money for the schools. It's not in the Constitution. They shouldn't be involved. They just ruin our schools, even more than they already are. And lastly, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Your comment about the 7th graders and everything?
Yeah.
I thought it was curious. This council, you say, is on the level of the 7th graders? Is that true?
Evidently.
Okay. Thank you.
The TV show where you're as smart as a 5th grader.
Any other questions, comments? Yes, Dave.
David Shack, 302 C Street. First, I'd like to agree with Mr. Dilberger about education grants. Maybe not some of the other stuff, but really the constitutionally federal government has no authorization to be involved in education. So just participating with them on that, taking federal grants, is a violation of the Constitution, which you've all sworn to uphold, so just mentioning that. About the new website, what happened to all the archives for all the past meetings? It's all gone.
Yeah, seems to be a bit of a hiccup between the previous server and the current server. The odd thing is, if you typed into Google and wanted to pull up, Belmar meeting minutes from a certain date, they're still there. We're just trying to get them from the old server onto the new server. So, they're there, they're not gone, they're there, we just haven't gotten them over electronically yet.
So that's gonna be rectified, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Has to be.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it legally has to be, but just for in the interest of transparency, it really has to be, you know. So you think that'll be happening pretty soon?
I don't know a time frame. I don't know, I'm not a very computer literate person, so, but all I know is that,
Because I did want to research a certain issue and was unable to.
like I said, you can find things on the old server, if you type in the right sentences and some other weird things. I don't.
Yeah, it's not acceptable.
Fine.
That'll be
No,
fixed though,
I'm
right?
just saying, we're gonna fix it, but if you
Yeah.
want it tomorrow, it's not gonna get
You know,
there.
if you happen to know what you're looking for, but if you're browsing, just looking, you know, for certain, you know, things that might attract your interest, you know.
Yeah.
To be honest, what I'll tell you is what I was looking for is I wanted to go back a year or two and look at all the cases of examples of where members of the council recused themselves from certain votes, because my recollection is that they were all for just routine kind of stuff, you know, special events permits, and promotions and things of that nature, and not for anything that was at all controversial or, you know,
No, that's
important.
That's not true. I recused myself from the discussion on the Barclay liquor license in June of 2011, simply because I've been in discussions in my private business world with one of the attorneys that was retained by someone who was opposed to it.
Okay, well, that was the information I was looking for, so
I just kept it.
was unable to find, so, okay, thank you.
Sure.
That's it.
Any other questions? No? Yes, Marie?
Sitting there patiently.
Maria Florio, 115 12th Avenue. Today I attended a great function given by DJs, the seniors. The food was great, the music was great, but you have to explain to me, what does BYOB mean? Bring your own, which should be like what, wine?
Beer, wine, and champagne is permitted up at the top.
Okay. There was a table display of all hard liquor. There was a vodka, there was tequila. I don't know. Was that permissible, or do they have a, I don't,
Again, the only liquor permitted up at the hotel pavilion is beer, wine, and champagne.
Well,
Someone
how-
brought something else by accident, you know, people may have made a mistake. I don't know.
no,
We'll find
it
out.
was set up by the committee.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know, but was that allowed? It wasn't questioned? Come on, answer
I don't know, I wasn't there, but I'll find out.
Well,
for you.
Claire, I think you were there, and you saw it. Was that allowed?
I don't know what special permission was given for that today. Kelly's not here, so I'm
Right.
not
We'll find out and get back to you. We'll find out if any was served or why
It was,
there.
because I had a drink. Well, it was, what would you call it? Open bar. Why not? Right? And we're all seniors. Are we capable of driving? If I got a DWI, I would have been very upset. I'm joking. Okay, that's settled set. I have another, are you timing me?
Yes.
A month ago, I spoke to Mr. Young about property 99 13th Avenue, that the grass is up to here. And I checked it today, and it's still there. 1984, when we built our home, my husband and I, in the process of building, we got a letter, report of clearing property. Grass cutter, $2 per hour for 2 men. Tools, $2 per hour for 2 hours. A dump truck, $12 per hour for 2 hours. 2 men, 4 hours. Then insurance, social security, pension, supervision, overhead, 40% of labor costs. Of course, at that time, $77. You know, today it's nothing, but at that time it went. We give summons out if you don't cut the grass, right? After a certain time, don't you think something like this would be good?
Something like what?
getting a letter where the town goes and does their job of cutting the grass and then charging the people?
Sure, we do that.
Do you?
Sure, there was a resolution out tonight about it.
How come then in a month's time the guy still didn't cut his grass?
I don't know, 99 13th Avenue, or 99 12th Avenue.
No, 13. It's a
99,
house
13.
being built, and it's been closed, or has they stopped building on it for about 6 months?
We'll find out.
Okay,
Sure.
thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Yes, Steve.
Steve Vita, Barclay, everybody thinks I know. I was here at the last meeting, and I have a couple questions, but I want to bring up something you just brought up before, Jim, Matt. When Jim asked you about the restrictions on the Barclay license, you said exactly correctly, restrictions follow license, which was our argument through the whole process with you guys about lifting restrictions. Of course, there were no restrictions on the Barclay license for 40 years. And they were put on at my transfer. And we asked you to correct that by lifting the restrictions, and you didn't. That's put out of business. Do you have any comment?
Weren't there restrictions on the license?
There were no restrictions on the license prior to the transfer to me. And I was never...
After the transfer to you?
Excuse me?
After the, when was it transferred to you?
October of '07. And we were never notified. I asked Carl Kemp, former borough attorney, for notification to my attorney that there were restrictions going to be put on the license. We never got an answer. There was never anything to my correspondence to my attorney. And the night of the transfer, the vote was taken, and Carl read the resolution. And I was even told not to even come to the meeting. Mrs. Plummer said to me, "Steve, you don't have to come. It's a rubber stamp. You know what it is." And then he read it onto the record.
Okay, well, I wasn't here, so
No.
I don't know what he read or didn't read.
No,
And we've
I
gone
will tell
through
you
this.
that, the reason why we're not going to give you any response on this tonight, Steve, our attorney, Michael Dupont, has instructed both myself and members of the council not to discuss this because of the possibility of pending litigation.
There is.
He told me he contacted you and told you to have your attorney contact him directly.
He hasn't contacted me yet, but I've sent emails to everyone for a response. I didn't get a response from anyone.
Right, we're instructed not to respond to you.
I got responses from everyone telling me, we know where the license application was. What Bill Young said last week about it being a state of New Jersey ABC official who told him not to process the transfer from Barclay Business to Fusal just in June, there was no state person who told him that. He now changed, he recanted the story last week at the last meeting to say it was the IRS agent. I spoke in length today with the IRS agent. He did not instruct the town to not process the license application. The application was then sent back to the buyer with his checks. And we're trying to find out what transpired on the application. And I got no response. You told me last meeting somebody would get back to me. I emailed Captain Heisman numerous times, never had phone calls, and never had an answer.
Captain Heisman has been instructed not to respond back to you either because of pending litigation.
Okay.
So the only real avenue you have is for you and/or your attorney to contact Michael Dupont, the borough attorney.
That's what we're doing. The only person who responded was Mr. Bean, which was very helpful, and he's trying to get an answer, and he couldn't get an answer. So just wanted to put that on record, though. I did want to put on record, Matt, that you did say about the license, that the restriction does follow the license, and there were none on the Barclay for 40 years. So just we're clear on that. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments from the public? Yes, ma'am.
Mayor and Council, I'm Pat Hughes. I'm at 422 14th Avenue. And my comments are, let me get my note up. First of all, to commend our police department and code enforcement for closing the 14th Avenue board house. But there's quite a bit of question around that, and I am somewhat representing my avenue as well. Life has gotten much better now that it's closed, I can't tell you. But the question is, what can we do as a town and/or residents to make sure the proper communication channels are pursued with the state? The state was there the day that you guys were closing it, and they seem to have an opinion of not realizing that there was anything wrong or that anything had gone on, and even asked us, oh, were things really that bad? So how, as residents, as in a town, can we make sure that is communicated to them, because it seemed like a missing link?
Yeah, I mean, the best avenue is to communicate to, within the municipality, the police department, or the mayor, council, the business administrator. The folks who were there from the state were from the Department of Community Affairs.
Right.
They were there to, it's my understanding, protect the interest of the current occupants of the property. We had to relocate them. We relocated them out of town at our expense. But we thought it was a worthwhile investment because of the numerous code violations on that property, and also the very valid complaints we got from neighbors in that area. It took a while to address it, but since we have addressed it, we're not looking to turn the clock back on what was there. You'll see it's boarded up now, and we're going to move forward on what we can do legally with that property, so it doesn't simply flip back to what it was before. But when it comes to the state, I don't want to say there's nothing, but they're not there. They're not there to hear from you. They were only there to hear from the current occupants of the property. I guess they asked you, why is it so bad?
Are things really that bad? And I laughed. I said, they're pretty bad, the drugs and women getting beaten. But he acted like he had no idea. So we were shocked as residents that he did not get any communication, or so he said, of what was actually going on. So we were shocked that he said, are things really that bad?
What agency did you represent from the state?
He was from the state. It's the two gentlemen you're talking about.
Yeah, Department of Community Affairs.
And we understood that they were there for the rights of the residents, and there were several people there that were nice. They weren't all bad, but he acted as if he had no clue that anything wrong was going on, or anything bad was happening, or there was anything in question. So that made us concerned as residents that, there was this missing link.
I don't want to sound cynical, but I don't believe him that he didn't know there were problems.
I kind of feel the same way. So I thought maybe this would be a good opportunity to let you know that, and how we can at least make sure that communication doesn't get missed again, because he either meant it or he didn't mean it. But either way, it didn't come across too well for us.
He was probably asking you if it really was that bad, that it needed to be closed down. And when you started saying, yes, it was that bad, he was probably throwing up his hands like, yes, we lost it this time.
Yeah.
But if you were going to say it's not that bad, then he probably could have come back with some ammunition that we shouldn't have closed it down.
Yeah, perhaps
So
that's
he was
it.
probably playing you.
At what level are we supposed to contact this agency? Because I'm not sure about the logistics of it or how this came down. When would they have come in on this issue? That's what I guess what I'm trying to say.
Once we declared, I mean, it's a long process, but once our fire official declared that it was a structure unfit for fire code reasons, we actually had to post a police officer for 48 hours in front of the building.
Yes.
Before we notified the residents that they had to leave. I mean, we did it, we gave them 48 hours. We didn't want to just go in there and kick them out, right? We gave them 48 hours. But in a time frame, we had to post a police officer per state regulations. Now, when you, as a municipality, when you take the action we took, we were required to contact DCA. But again, Department of Community Affairs is not there for us. They were there to protect the interests and the rights of the current occupants of the property. So we wouldn't call them in and say, hey, we're having a problem with this property.
That's what I'm trying to say.
No, we wouldn't do that. We only get in touch with them. They only want it. I mean, we could call them, but they're gonna dismiss it. It doesn't matter. But when we do take action, we're compelled to contact them so that they come in to protect the rights of the occupants in that establishment.
So we follow procedure.
Absolutely, 100%.
So he might have been surprised, but he was informed in a proper manner.
Yeah.
So our departments did everything that they were supposed to. Why they would come in beforehand, I wouldn't see that as a possibility. But from what I'm hearing from the mayor, everything was done according to Hoyle, so to speak, and I'm happy about that.
Well, we're very happy on 14th Avenue. The last comment is just to support some of the other people that came up to say about how things are getting a little bit worse. Sometimes there's a tipping point in the summer, the noise and the cursing. And I think that absentee landlords, I don't know if there is a solution to help, to try and get them to be more accountable or to care and respect those of us who live here year-round. I don't know if that's what we have in place there, but I just wanted to support my fellow residents to say that it is getting a little bit worse, and we have a very high tolerance for noise, and I just wanted to make sure I stated that. So, thank you.
I think our bicycle control is a very good way of controlling these issues, and I see that working effectively throughout town.
It's very effective.
Yes, because you're open air and you see everything.
Yeah, we have.
How many do we have? In the summer?
We have about 15 or 16 that are operational right now.
And they rotate around town in the troubled areas, is that correct?
When we first started the program, we had 1 or 2 police officers on the bike. On any given Saturday night, I might have 12 officers out there on bikes.
Good.
I cover more area than I would on foot.
Yeah, I think that's very
And they get
effective
around.
control.
They
Yep.
can get from one, they can be a patrol car there depending on the traffic.
I've heard good things about them in and around some of the areas that people speak of, and they're very, very happy with that control. So I'm happy that we still have that in place and that the numbers have increased.
It's very effective patrol.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, can we revisit what the reasons for causing an animal house to be and maybe tighten it up, make it even a little tighter?
Sure. We could see what's on the books now and see if there's more flexibility in making it more stringent. Sure.
How many years has Animal House been on the books?
2003.
It's been on for some time now.
And do we see, I mean, we gave money back today for somebody.
Oh, it certainly doesn't work. I mean, there's houses now that only planning is working.
And overall, I mean, if you look at the total number of summer rentals in the past, and Captain Heisen can speak about this, to what it is today, I mean, you're talking, at one time there was 1,300, today there was less than 300.
We're all reactive. We're more proactive than we have been.
Right. All right. Any other questions, comments? See you back.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. First off, Mayor Doherty, Councilwoman Mike Seebeck, 110 2nd Avenue. You're absolutely right. Good evening, Mayor and Council again. Mayor Doherty, Councilwoman Nicolay, thank you very much for coming down to Belmar, working with the kids, setting a fine example at the Belmar Elementary School. Second issue is, Mayor Doherty, how many signatures do you need to submit a petition to the Mayor and Council? One?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Lastly, last meeting we left off that Councilor DuPont was going to get back to me regarding an issue we had concerning the vote on the back house ordinance. I understand, well aware of the fact that there's some issues going on around that ordinance. I'd just like to know what the status of the ordinance is and the issues going around concerning that ordinance. What's the path of resolution here?
Unfortunately, not here tonight, but talking with our borough attorney, I think he spoke about this publicly last time, was he, in an effort to keep to protect the ordinance, he struck, or he instructed the clerk to strike Councilman Bean's vote because he had a clear conflict on the ordinance. Right now, no one's challenged it legally, and our attorney believes that if they did, just like any other ordinance, you could challenge anything, you could challenge any resolution. But he believes that we should be in fine legal standing with anyone who does challenge.
I guess I'm not understanding the explanation clearly enough. Mayor Doherty challenged the ordinance. So the ordinance is in effect as
well, it goes into effect
20 days after memorialization?
Today. And I think we have our first applicant is going to be on the 22nd at the planning board, right? That's Mr. Forte. So on the 22nd is when there'll be the first house to take advantage, first property to take advantage of this ordinance.
Okay. All right. Fair enough, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to close the public portion and adjourn. I'll second. All in favor? All right. Have a good night.